my breath, I release the truth. Every word got weight, every bar got proof. No safe opinions, no watered down talk. We illuminate past, they too scared to walk. From rumors to pain, from power to lies. We question the rules, they never revise. If silence is comfort, I break that habit. Pull truth out the dark, place it in traffic. I see the whispers behind the glass doors, while the common man bleeds on the concrete floors. They want a puppet with strings in the sky, but I'm cutting the cord and I'm looking in the eye.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, no dodging the heat. Real conversations over industry beats. If nobody brave enough step into it, then I grab the mic and I do it. Yeah, I'm gonna say, no dodging the heat. Real conversations over industry beats. If nobody brave enough step into it, then I grab the mic, yeah, and I do it.
That's right. Lori, welcome in, bestie. You made it. You made it to the live amidst the change. We over here back on these YouTube avenues, but we're going to continue giving the same work that we did over on the other platform that we was on. Right, bestie? We're not going to stop our grind. We're going to keep doing what we do, and we're going to do it on time. You feel me? But before we do get started, I would like to send a sincere fuck you very much to the other platform that we was on. And I just got one thing to say to him.
Fix your face, bitch, I'm here to stay, and I don't give a fuck.
At all. I don't care, man. We not stopping. We're going to get to that work. Lori, I'm glad you made it here. She says, hey, got as many tagged with news. My girl, I appreciate that, bestie. I really do. Thank you for getting it out. Oh, yeah. We got to welcome in Sister Bernice for sure. Sister Bernice, how you doing this morning? Come on and bring us in so we can get this show started, please.
Welcome to hashtag I'm gonna say it on YouTube. Most things said in today's show are alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you are below the age of 18, we request that you leave the live now. Enjoy.
Sister Bernice, I appreciate that. You're right. We're going to enjoy this YouTube avenue that we on, and we're going to make it happen, Captain. So let's get at it right now. We're going to open up with the first segment. Like I said, though, before I get going, I want to make sure that all the content creators that we listen to or we use their audio and stuff like that, I just want to say thank you to them. I appreciate their great works. I pray that they continue doing so. I wish them nothing but success in their future endeavors. And we just going to work together and make it happen. Weston Kernan or whatever says, why? Welcome in. We accept chaos agents as well, but you're more than welcome to grab you a seat and sit down and listen too. Maybe you can learn something as well. All right. All right. Let's go. Bridget Garcia, welcome in, bestie. Thank you for coming in to hashtag I'm going to say it. First thing we're going to start with is from our man's Marab Morali. And it says, this Diddy news is insane. New court filings. I haven't heard it, so I can't tell you what's going on, or I can't connect anything to it right yet. We're going to listen to it together. But one thing I think we can stand in unison on is that it seems every day Diddy has something going on. So let's just find out what's popping now.
So some really big news, and I want you guys to really listen to everything that I'm saying in this video because there's a lot of legal stuff that we have to get into, but it's not looking good for Diddy and his co-conspirators. Hey guys, it's Marab Morali. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video. So there's going to be a evidentiary hearing that's going to be taking place next Tuesday at the SDNY Southern District of New York for somebody called Garin James. Now, Garin James was a name that was mentioned by Judge Arun himself at the sentencing of Diddy. He mentioned three people: Bridget Jones, Bridget Collins, thank you, Christina Coram, and Garin James. These are three people who helped Diddy try to find as many people as he could to basically do things to. Now, Garin James, his real name, Brett Taylor, is somebody who is seen as the CEO of Cowboys for Angels. Cowboys for Angels is basically a company where Diddy used to hire several male escorts from. And apparently, from what I am seeing, it looks like that Garen James is going through it and is freaking out. But with this
Appreciate
hearing that's
that,
taking
Lori.
place
Thank
on
you.
Tuesday, even if things go his way, he could still be added to a lawsuit at a later date in regards to the lawsuit against Diddy from people who are part of Cowboys for Angels, which are still active. But if not, it also could mean that he has to pay a specific damage amount compensation to these people who are part of Cowboys for Angels. Not only that, guys, but it also explains when Diddy was arrested in that hotel before he went to prison, he had roughly around $8,000 to $9,000 of cash on him. The reason why he had this large amount of money is because, of course, he still had that great friendship with Garen James and obviously wanted to keep basically buying men and, you know, loaning men and doing things and horrific things to them.
All right, let's pause right there for a second. How could this be significant? We're not saying that it is. We're just saying how it could be significant. Hey, Roman, welcome in. Welcome in. So this is how that could be significant to what's going on or with future cases. Let's say if some people decided to come out and say that they were a victim of his nefarious activities, Diddy's nefarious activities in the past. Well, they could possibly match up these records with these Cowboys for Angels, and if the timeline adds up or the date adds up, and a victim is saying that this is something that happened to him along these lines or whenever, you know, right, but the worker came from that place, or Diddy had put an order in for a worker from that place, then it could help collaborate their stories. So that's why it could be important. We're not saying that that did happen. We're not saying that it's going to happen. What I'm telling you is that it basically can establish um, proof or evidence on something if someone decided to come forth with allegations of SA or something like that. That's why that could be important. This is where he ordered the male SMEX workers in order to come participate in his freak offs.
This could also mean that even if Garen has to pay financial compensation next Tuesday, that he potentially could also be indicted. This could also mean that Christina Coram is going to be dragged into this case because he is also labeled as a co-conspirator, not just Bridget Collins, not just Garen James. So this is really big news happening next Tuesday. It looks like Diddy's co-conspirators are all going down one by one. Cowboys for Angels have tried to dismiss this. Garen James has tried to dismiss this. Obviously, that means he's panicking and going through it because he simply can't deal. He had a great friendship with Diddy. He basically allowed Diddy to do whatever he wanted to do to the men that he basically would hire on this escort website. It was his favorite place to go. And this is what I spoke to you guys about a while ago, about how some bad news is coming to Diddy in regards to Cowboys for Angels, in regards to some men coming after Diddy, you know, after what had happened. Why did Diddy have this great relationship with Cowboys for Angels? And did Garen James basically, you know, specifically loan out these men to Diddy, basically trafficking these men to Diddy and putting them in danger and harm's way, knowing what Diddy was capable of? He seems to be panicking, Garen, because this was not what he was expecting, especially to go to court, especially for all of this to happen so soon to this man. But seems to be a very seedy individual, especially if you are owning an escort agency and you're specifically loaning out to Diddy, you have some kind of relationship. And Diddy obviously can't do this all alone. His co-conspirators are falling one by one. And I think that this is very big news, and we're going to follow what's going to happen at the Southern District of New York, the same court where Diddy was tried. We're going to see what's going to happen to Garen James because he clearly is definitely going through it 110%. The judge in Diddy's case, after he gave Diddy 50 months, said that the preponderance of evidence is that Garen James and Bridget Collins and Christina Coram are criminally liable as co-conspirators. I was definitely there when Judge Arun said this. When he mentioned these names, we all looked around in court like, Christina, we know. But I remember we were looking around, we're like, Garen, who's that? Like, we were like, who are these
Yeah, that's
people?
how it is
Who's
here.
Bridget
It was
Collins? Like, I
70,
don't know who
now
these
it's
people are.
freezing,
So,
dropping to
they're
the
clearly
40s.
on the radar
We
of
just
the
had a real
court, which
bad
is why,
thunderstorm, too.
less than a year after his trial,
Christy!
now Garen James himself is going
Hey,
to court.
gorgeous,
So
I
we're
didn't
going to
know
see
you was
what's
in
going to
here.
happen here. And it's, it's
Welcome
going
in,
to be
baby
awful
girl.
for Garen James. I feel like, is a catch-22. Either way, the man is definitely going to be effed as far as I'm concerned. And this is the beginning of the end of the co-conspirators. This is the beginning of the end of Christina Coram, of Bridget, of Garen, all three of them. This is the beginning of the end of all of them. Did they really thought that once Diddy went to jail, their problems were solved? No, they're coming for you as well. And I can't wait to see what takes place. Now, Diddy had a trial moving on.
Okay, now it's showing that there is a lawsuit filed, but it says Central District of California, and this file Liana, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce the name, Liana Ripley. But here, like I said, it's in California, Central District of California. And like we were saying on the other uh, platform that we was on Friday, the difference is this is in California. This is not in New York where the trial took place. So let's be mindful that things could be different. It for sure is not the same home field advantage that he had in New York. That we can say for sure. However, like we've said on the other platform previously, we also have to keep in mind that in a lot of these cases, people who wear that black robe in the courtroom and attorneys and some law enforcement officers are all in on this same kind of scheme. So you can't necessarily say that real justice will be served. It could still be the same thing. But we do want to make sure we point out it's in California, not in New York.
June, July. Now it's been revealed, guys, that that actually has been voluntarily dismissed. There's going to be no trial of Ripley versus Diddy. And the reason why is because a settlement was granted. So it looks like Diddy gave some money to her to make this go away. Per the advice of his lawyers, he couldn't deal with going to a trial again. He couldn't deal with going to court again, and therefore offered advanced money, and she took the money and therefore decided to settle. This means that Diddy's financial pockets are being hit badly, because if you are doing this for civil trials, civil lawsuits, then the other people who filed civil cases against you are also going to be expecting money in their pockets as well, which means that Diddy is going to be going broke by the minute. It already was reported that when it comes to his assets, he's already low as it is. But now that you are financially giving these settlements so that, a trial can go away, Ripley has seen the money that Diddy has offered and said, you know what, we don't need to go to trial. I'll take that money. Everybody else who's filed civil lawsuits against him, which is roughly 80 to 90, are also now going to be looking for settlements as well, if a lot of them do get advanced to trial, which possibly now can take place, which is not good news at all for Diddy. That's what I mean. Similar for Garen. It's a catch-22 here. You can go to trial or you can be at loss and give money. And, that's one thing that P. Diddy cares about is his money, 110%. Now, Diddy is arguing again in a new appellate of, the government versus Diddy. He has reply. That doesn't make sense. In his reply brief filed today, Diddy is reaffirming that his sentence is unlawful. He's really angry that he was given this amount, and he says that it's unjust. The Mann Act cannot be applied to voyeurism, and his conviction violated the First Amendment. This appellate, of course, is being distributed because, next month is going to be his appeal. We're going to see if he's going to win this appeal or not. That in itself is not going to be a trial. It's just going to be basically online as far as I'm concerned, and we're going to find out what's going to go on. But this new appellate comes in today where he is reaffirming his anger. He is reaffirming his stance. He is reaffirming that he is not moving anywhere. So this litigation is still going back and forth. There's still a lot going on with Diddy, and I wanted to keep you guys updated with all of that. Outside of this, it's been reported that Busby seems to have just won pretty big in regards to a jury verdict yesterday, where $192,000 was granted on a trial, on a lawsuit that Busby was basically working on with his clients. Therefore, Busby's really on a high right now because he just won something major, and Diddy is definitely not going to be trying to go on trial with Busby, because Diddy's lawyers are definitely watching and overseeing what Busby is doing, and Jay-Z, and they don't want Busby's name to be mentioned in terms of going to trial with, which is also probably why Diddy is granting these settlements and granting the money. He lost 20-30 million to Cassie, and now he's losing more money to the lawyers, not making any money, and now he's losing money to these settlements that he's making. So congrats to Busby on that win, and Diddy looks like he's going broke by the minute. But to me, it's the co-conspirators, the ones that are going down, Garen James and Christina Coram, these two people especially, and Bridget, to see what goes on with the trajectory of their lives and their lawsuits. And Garen, it looks like he's going to be in court. Christina also is going to be watching that closely, because if he goes down, she is going to be dragged into this, because he probably will be indicted as well. If one of the co-conspirators is indicted, the rest are going to be indicted as well. So pretty big news legally when it comes to all of this. I know Diddy is not big news right now, and he was with the trial, but that doesn't mean that things have stopped with him. They're still ongoing, and it's my job to keep you guys clued in so that when it does hit the fan again, all of you guys know what's going on. Do subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up. For the algorithm, it's just one click, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.
All right, let's give it up to Marab. We're not done. We're going to come right back to our brother Marab Morelli. But listen, I want to make sure we point this out, though, because we do know we have some idiots out there in the world or in the universe, and they are still riding the wave from the trial and the outcome of that. And again, like we said before, calm down, calm down. It's not over yet. He still got a lot of more cases coming out against him and lawsuits coming out against him. And let's not forget, he still has to go um, and go to trial or go to court for with his son over the Grace O'Markey or whatever the thing, that incident that happened on the yacht with Christian Cone. So he still got to go and handle that because the yacht was in his dad's name. So Diddy's implemented in that as well. And also, let's not forget Jonathan Hayes still has his lawsuit against Diddy on the table in California. And he's already stated he ain't really looking to have it be a civil case neither. He's trying to make sure justice is served and make sure Diddy face the time for the crime he's allegedly done against him. No shade to you, Jonathan Hay, and I'm not trying to discredit you, brother. I just have to say allegedly because that's the professional and journalistic thing to do here. Okay, so I also want to make sure going forward that we make that known. Anybody that's a victim or a survivor, when we say allege, it's not to discredit them in any way. So let's boomerang it right back to Murad because now he's covering something that says it just got even worse for the Breakfast Club. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I'm not really a Breakfast Club fan. I don't really keep up with it like that. So I don't even know what's going on. But we'll listen and see if there's something that he says that we've covered before or that it's something that they may have been doing in the past and it just never got talked about as it should have. So let's see what's happening.
So it just got really bad, guys, for the Breakfast Club. We spoke about them a week ago and how they made a very poor decision, in my opinion, to move over to Netflix. They thought it was a great deal. They were offered a lot of money from what it seems. And now they've got mass backlash from their original fans. They can't actually upload anything on YouTube. They can't stream, nothing. All the rights are solely to Netflix and they want complete control over all of this. This has resulted in a knock on their engagement, low viewership. I can't even believe that anybody would even go onto Netflix to type in Breakfast Club podcast. Like nobody's going to be doing that.
I ain't gonna lie, yo, since Breakfast Club been on Netflix, man, our engagement, our people be all the fans that we built up over time, or that they built up. I just got here. That they built up over time on YouTube. Oh my God, they feel neglected because Netflix was like, nope, we want all of it. Y'all can have no other social media presence, none. So now we got to find other content to do that can go on our other platforms. But it's okay because Just Hilarious got that in a bag, shorty. So make sure y'all tune into Justice Thoughts. I started doing a segment where...
So he basically discussed how it was really bad news for them. They're losing, viewership and it's not really worth it. They really upset themselves and how this deal wasn't cracked up to what it used to be. Like the fact that you started on YouTube and you left YouTube so suddenly, you can't upload your full episodes on there. You've betrayed your YouTube people when you should full well know that YouTube generates more money than Netflix does on an annual basis is insane to me. I don't understand it. However, moving on from that, it's just gotten worse for them. And the reason why is because there is some context of Charlemagne discussing his strong affinity and likeness to R. Kelly. And the things that he is saying, I'm absolutely shocked by. I genuinely thought that this was AI. This couldn't have been real. I was very confused as to what was going on, but clearly it's insane. Hey guys, it's Murad Morali. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video and crack up this news because clearly it doesn't make sense what he's talking about, but maybe this is what this man has always been. So there's a tweet where he says, R. Kelly looks 20-something. The fountain of youth clearly can be found with teenage V. This is probably one of the most disgusting tweets that I have ever read in my entire life, to be honest with you. I honestly can't.
Okay. Pause for a second. Okay, so here's the thing with that. I get what he's saying. That it could be bad how he put it. It is bad how it came out, how it sounded. Especially given the situation or the predicament that R. Kelly is in, what he's been accused of doing, stuff like that. So to say teenage V probably wasn't the greatest choice of words. Although I do think Charlemagne was trying to give R. Kelly a compliment. I just think maybe the presentation or the words used weren't the best way of doing that.
Believe it. I'm going to repeat again for you guys. R. Kelly looks 20 something. The fountain of youth must be teenage V, clearly highlighting the word teenage. And then he.
Okay. Now that I heard it again and heard how how Marad said that he put that, it was all bad. It was very bad. It was all bad. That was a poor decision by Charlemagne the God. That should have never been stated. That should have never came up. In fact, that thought of my his train of thought shouldn't have even been that right there. To say teenage V, and ladies that's listening, I apologize if y'all feel offended. It's, I didn't know that was going to be said, but yeah.
He obviously talks about how R. Kelly had basically the best tapes of all time, when some of the stuff, was obviously in regards to a minor. He then talks about how R. Kelly literally is an incredible person and he did incredible things to a 14-year-old.
I learned how to eat ass because of the R. Kelly tape.
That's true.
And the Come P Come thing is still one of the most
legendary,
incredible things I've ever seen in my life. Because I still don't understand how a man could come.
But for the fact that this now has gone recently super viral online, and a lot of people who are reacting to this, their initial reaction is, I did not know that R. Kelly said, I did not know that Charlemagne was doing this. I didn't know that Charlemagne liked this. I didn't know that Charlemagne, basically would speak like this. I'm actually quite shocked and really upset. He was really, just enamored and, pleased, shocked
Rita,
that R. Kelly would be
bestie, you
able
made it over here. Welcome
produce, come and do this on a minor. But then on top of that, he would urinate.
Great to see
and then
you
he'd
in
be
here.
able to come again. And this is literally what Charlemagne is saying as to how R. Kelly was able to do this. That's incredible. That's insane. All in the full context that he was doing this to somebody without consent and also a minor, which is absolutely horrific when you think about the context of what Charlemagne is saying. So the reason why this has got even worse for the Breakfast Club is because you now have a core base of your fans who are reacting to this and are extremely upset. It's going viral and they don't like what Charlemagne is talking about. They don't like what he's saying. So on top of the fact that you've already lost engagement, on top of the fact that you can't even upload on YouTube, you've left them, you've gone to Netflix, it's really pissed off your fans. They stay dragging you in the YouTube comments. They're really upset. Everybody's talking about it. Even you guys have come out with your co-hosts admitting that the engagement has gone down. On top of that, the week after that shit show, now one of the co-hosts on this podcast has recently gone viral and all of his old comments have basically resurfaced. I didn't know about this. I'm one of those people who thought that Charlemagne was a great interviewer, that he would be able to engage with people, ask the questions that people are afraid of. And then when somebody like a celebrity would try to shade him back, he would never fall for the rage bait. He wouldn't fall for the rage bait. He can compose himself, but he can rage bait somebody else. I thought that in itself is interesting because you will always get good viewership from that narrative of podcasting. But now knowing that Charlemagne had these thoughts as a grown man and would speak about R. Kelly in this way, I'm extremely upset, disappointed, and I definitely won't be supporting anything that he would be doing, considering the fact that this is what he talks about. He then talks about the fact that, his wife and how she was drunk and he wasn't, and then he basically did things to her. I believe he's already publicly apologized in regards to that. Publicly admitting to the R word and not even understanding that that's what you did, but even though you do understand it, but you don't care, so you're that confident to speak about it publicly. But it's more so the conversation about R. Kelly that this man is having, because I feel like the stuff that he's done to his current wife, I feel like is already public knowledge. So that is a different conversation. But what he's talking about, R. Kelly saying that the tapes were incredible, his actions towards a minor was incredible, and then his tweets coming out, I think are absolutely insane. I can't even show you the full gist of the tweet because it goes against the guidelines. That's how horrific and deep twisted this is. This is obviously going to really upset the Netflix bosses, knowing that this is going viral. People are tagging Netflix. They're really upset. I don't think it's going to lead to any permanent consequence, but they're not going to be pleased because they're already looking at the stats of the podcast. They're seeing that it's low engagement. They're seeing that it's low viewership. And they're wondering, what could we do to promote the podcast in a way to boost it so that people who are watching our high profile videos and movies can come to the Breakfast Club? Now, a week after that, it's been a PR gate crash and you've got people literally producing these videos of Charlemagne that have gone ultra viral. And a lot of the reaction is that they never thought that he would have said something like this. They've never thought that Charlemagne was capable of this evilness, but he definitely is. So when he sits there, guys, and he tries to take a moral compass when it comes to the conversations of Diddy, it's very interesting. When he, tries to, drag certain people, but then at the same time doesn't want to say a one word about Jay-Z because he is terrified and probably works under Rock Nation and therefore is bowing down to somebody. Are you really that type of journalist? Are you, if you're biased to somebody, then, what kind of integrity do you have? So that in itself is an entire different conversation. I don't want to drag this into this, but it's not looking good for the Breakfast Club. You've already lost a chunk of your viewership because you ran to Netflix, and that's been really upset for you guys, and you're complaining. But now there's been a portion of your viewers who are seeing something going viral in a very negative light, and I think that it's going to continue to impact. Apparently, there were some big interviews that I didn't know what was going on, but then I saw a few clips online, and I'm like, oh, I would have watched that, but it's not on YouTube. I'm not going on Netflix to watch it, and I currently pay for Netflix. So I could easily go on the Netflix app and watch it, but I'm not going to do that. To me, that's just exhausting. Like, I'm not used to that. It's a new neural pathway that I don't need to develop just to watch The Breakfast Club. It's just irritating me. So it's, not looking good for them. Not looking good for them at all. Plenty of bad decisions, one after the other. And even Joe Budden was speaking about it on his podcast, talking about how they basically made a bad choice. This was a bad choice for them. Why would you leave and abandon YouTube? I don't know. But we already discussed that last week, so I don't want to get into that same conversation. This was about his affinity to R. Kelly, old videos going viral, and how it just pushes the bad PR and pushes the viewership and the engagement in a very negative space. Do subscribe to the channel, guys. Comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It's just one click to subscribe. That's all you guys need to do. And I'll catch you guys soon for another video.
Shout out to Murad Morali. Okay, so now now that we've listened to that and we know the context of what Murad was bringing to us, I'll say this. That is bad. That is very bad. I would expect Charlemagne the God to have a better decision-making ability than to say something like that. Sis, you made it in. Y'all welcome, sis, Jenny, to the live. But here's what I will say on what I do know, and that's, I'm gonna take it from the pro wrestling aspect of it. WWE used to have Raw, its TV show, a flagship show, Raw, on USA, and it did great. It did outstanding numbers, and then they moved to Netflix, right? So now they have Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Does okay, but still not what it was when it was on. The numbers, the ratings are not what they were when they were on USA Network. Now, let's go to their pay-per-views. They actually used to have them on Peacock, and they did good on Peacock. But then they decided to start having pay-per-views on ESPN, and you have to have some type of ESPN thing or plan for that, and that's not, people are not happy with that. So sometimes I bring this up to get to this. Sometimes it's best to stay where you are and stay loyal to your fan base. And then there's times when it is a good time to actually move into another direction. But when you do that, or when you're going to do that, just make sure you look at all the analytics on things and see what move works out best for you and your company. I don't think this was good for the Breakfast Club to go to Netflix, but at the same time, I really don't have a dog in the fight because I don't really watch the Breakfast Club. So, all right, Emma says, please can you shout out to me? Shout out to you, Emma. Thank you for joining us for hashtag I'm gonna say it. We're glad you're in here, and please, by all means, stick around. Enjoy the show. Okay, y'all, look, y'all know what we was talking about Friday before we got permanently banned for telling the truth and doing what we do. It's been said here that Riri and ASAP have moved from LA. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't heard anything else about it. I just saw the notification pop up saying they moved from LA, and don't think she would come back. So in going with what we were talking about Friday during our live before we were rudely interrupted and shut down and permanently canceled, do you think that could be a reason why they moved away from LA? Because the people that we said, oh, I forgot we can say it, because Jay-Z and Beyonce may have had a so-called hitman after them. Could that be why they moved? If that is true, that they did move out of LA. Of course, you know what you're going to do. Your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, is going to make sure I keep an eye out on that story and find out if they did, in fact, move from LA. And if so, I think that's why. Rita said, I believe it. I do too, Bestie. I personally believe it, given some of the acts that Jay-Z and Beyonce have had in the past to certain people and how certain people have wound up no longer with us dealing with those people. So I can understand why she would, and I can believe it if it is true. I do believe it. I believe it, and I can understand. I'm with you, Rita. Lori said, yes, sir. She believes it too. Chrissy said, yes, I believe it too, Dad. Rita said, Riri has been moving real different. Yeah, that's true. Sis said, I heard Riri got on a plane right afterwards to leave. See? Again, this all things that would make sense and could pretty much validate what we were saying during our broadcast on Friday. It might be why we got shut down. Maybe we already knew. But no, seriously. But that probably is what's going on. But let's stick with the same people we're talking about. Let's with Jay-Z and Riri. Let's stick to that. And then let's add Chris Brown into that too, because we was talking about this particular situation before as well. And some people didn't really know about it. So we're gonna run it back. Premium Celeb, shout out to Premium Celeb. Y'all know how they get down. They do awesome work over there too. But it says OMG. Jaguar Wright drops bombshell on Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Chris Brown. You need to hear this. Now, we already know, but for those that didn't know, we're going to listen to it and let y'all hear it. And that way, y'all will be caught up to speed of what we were talking about all this time.
Hold on to Chris Brown and beating Rihanna. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
Like, how did you know what I mean? Like people don't
I
understand
would
what
too,
happened
sis.
that night.
I get it.
And that's because Jay-Z worked so hard to change the narrative of that night. Now, Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started with her and signed to the Def Jam.
Now, let's stop right there. We ain't even got good into it, but we can already stop. Said Riri was 14 or 15 years old when they were in that office, and he told her there's only two ways she could leave out of that office, and it was the window or, sign contract, and it was in the wee hours of the morning where an adult should never be with a child that age at that time in an office alone if it wasn't their own child or something like that, But 14 or 15. And now during our show on Friday, we were starting to talk about this and talk about some of the girls who Jay-Z was linked to or alleged to have a relationship with when they were not the age of consent. And Ramir's mother came up. Remember, they said that Ramir's mother was 15 when he got her pregnant, allegedly, and 16 when she had Ramir. And so, and then Foxy, I think Foxy was like, what, 15, 14, 15 too. So what that tells us is that now it's like a target age. Anywhere from that 14, 16 area age group, according to the things that's been said, again, allegedly, it seems like that might be the target age for Jay-Z. And that could be a problem. And that could very well be, no, that couldn't be. That is a problem. And that's probably why he don't want to submit the DNA for Ramir's paternity case. Because it could easily tie him to other things that we don't know or haven't been unearthed yet. You understand? Jenny says, I've heard she was 13 years old when they brought her here. Crazy. See? That's even wild. That's wilder. Rita said to Jenny, I believe it. Jenny said, 2 grown men brought her here without her parents from Barbados. From Barbados, y'all. Let's just put that in context before we get back to the audio. Let's put that in context. From Barbados to the United States at that age, when most of us as parents won't even let our children walk down the driveway alone. And you said, a whole nother continent? Come on now. Let's be honest. That's not good at all. Jenny said, can you imagine how scared you'd be with a room full of grown men? Yeah. And that you don't know. You have no clue. Rita said from the Caribbean at that. Exactly. Make you across ocean. Listen. That's across the ocean, y'all. That's across the ocean. My kids, when they were younger, they couldn't even get far away from me at the pool. So y'all, we just got to be honest. It doesn't matter how much they try to silence us, man, but we got to really just put this stuff together and see for what it's really worth. And these people aren't who they proclaim they be. It's a facade.
It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most sexually involved with, and that was Sean Carter.
Okay, now, and look, before we go further, not last time, but I'm going to pause it right here real quick to get this out. We are not condoning any kind of DV, any kind of abuse, physical abuse from male to female or anything. But in being human and being honest, if we could just be real honest, if you're dating this female or you're dating this, ladies, if you're dating this guy and you know you clean and then he done cheated on you allegedly and brought back some packages and gave the packages to you, you come on, man. It's gonna be some physicalities going on there. Jenny said forced. She was forced. It wasn't a willing relationship. And that's something that has to be pointed out too, sis. Good job. Hey, good job of bringing that up. Force. Let's put that out there. We got crime on top of crime.
So here it is. Chris Brown has his first herpes outbreak from his celebrity girlfriend who he was set up with, and it was supposed to be this and it was supposed to be that. And he was there so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was Jay-Z, underage. Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown.
Now, did y'all hear that? Remember how we talk about a lot of these marriages in the celebrity realm of things aren't really genuine marriage. It's more of a packaged or productive marriage, meaning the industry puts them together to be like a power couple to display to the other masses and the influence, the people that they influence and stuff like that. But they're really not in a relationship. And just think about it. How many times, and you can be honest, we won't tell nobody. How many times have you been sitting there thinking, what the heck does Beyonce see in Jay-Z? How in the world would she pick him over Pimp C? Oops. Maybe we shouldn't have said that. That's probably something else that's supposed to be on the low.
And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted into Clive Davis's house and said, "Where the f- is this dirty shit?" I can't fault him for that.
I don't. I'm sorry, I don't fault him.
He had this is beautiful. Oh, wonderful. Chris Brown, she didn't ruin him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes.
Oh.
And it's unfair. Because now that's a part of his story. And Rihanna ain't innocent.
That part, sis.
Because she was in there giving
Jay-Z.
that job in the
D-Rug's
closet.
her, that's why.
When Chris Brown came in, he said, "She always sucking something." Then he said, "I'm done with you," and he stormed out of Clive Davis's house, got into his very expensive car, and Rihanna chased after him. She gets in the car and started fighting on him because he embarrassed her for calling her a sucking and saying in front of everybody that she gave him the herpes at Clive Davis's house the night before the Grammys. She in the car trying to pick him up. They're speeding on the Pacific Coast Highway, and you know Pacific Coast Highway, very steep.
Yeah.
She could have killed the both of them fighting him while he was trying to just get the fuck away from her. Because Lord knows he couldn't get away from the herpes.
Ooh.
And he hit her back. Calm down.
That's what I heard, see. She slurp on the herp.
And all of this is happening while he's doing damn near 100 miles per hour in a sports car on Pacific Coast Highway while he's still trying to register that he is beautiful Chris Brown and his now trash. And
I keep hearing the song by Riri, Disturbia, in my head for some reason.
19.
My.
Because he got set up with a that was
That's what
who gave her
Pimp C
herpes.
did say that Beehive, you know.
And that's what happened. And people wonder why I speak up for Chris Brown. That's why. And if I'm lying, all of them can sue me, even you, Riri. Have fun.
Let's put a note there, moderators, that they haven't sued her about this.
My.
Keep your snatch to yourself.
That actually sounds more like the truth in comparison to anything I've heard about the situation.
That's what happened that night, and I know because I was at the party.
No, Jaguar goes crazy on Jay-Z. She goes crazy on Rihanna while defending.
Oh, this is iced oatmeal pie. And it's good. It's really good coffee. Not iced though. This was a hot one. And Saturday, wife and I had went to this play called Daybright. And I know I'm interrupted, but hey, shout out to Daybright. Y'all listen. Like I said, I love y'all. So I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to enjoy things. So if you look up in your area, if you have a Daybright is a subsidiary or a branch, a company, restaurant, and coffee shop that's part of or subsidiary of Chick-fil-A. And it offers healthy eating. So the breakfast is like a avocado and egg pocket, stuff like that, or egg and bacon slaughter, if you want something to eat, something healthy like that. So it's a healthy alternative. They're just trying it out. If it works, it'll be more put out. If not, then they won't. I think we deserve to have a right to have healthy restaurants to go to. So y'all remember that. Daybright is the name of it. Daybright Coffee and something.
And Chris Brown. And a lot of people, they only jump and say that Chris Brown did this and Chris Brown did that. But Jaguar is sharing her story on the night it happened. And remember, she said she was at the party. No, how did she know some of the things? Like, for example, how fast the car was going? I don't know. But I want you guys to listen fully and listen thoroughly because she is not finished. You guys think you heard it all? Well, you are wrong. She is not finished. So I want you guys to watch the full video and listen thoroughly and then let me know your thoughts and perspective because this is crazy. This
Jenny
one
said,
here is
we
crazy.
need more
Jay-Z
establishments that are willing to
Rihanna
feed
herpes,
us real food
and
too.
then she gave
that part right there,
Chris Brown herpes. Like
for sure.
That in itself is absolutely crazy. But I'm gonna shut up and stop my talking. Remember to drop a like and subscribe, show some love. Drop a like and subscribe, show some love.
It was the last Clive Davis kiss the pinky ring party I ever went to.
Ooh.
And then they sat there and Jay-Z and them get on the radio and they talk shit about that little boy. And then they put together that whole sham and then have him arrested on the red carpet just to make sure America hated him for defending himself against that crazy. I mean, she's sexy as shit and she's pure, and she has all of my respect when it comes to the whole game.
Ooh.
But you ruined Chris Brown's life, and you knew you ruined his life, and the only reason you did it was because your pimp Jay-Z told you to.
All right, so let's put this all in perspective, y'all. Again, like we said, this is how they have the innate ability to control the narratives and put out what they want us to know as far as when it comes to media relations and stuff like that. And we got to remember, they control the media too. Like I said, I mean, how many of y'all? Like, you know what? We on a new platform, so let's get to work. How many of y'all know the TV station CBS? And you know, if you look at that logo, it's an open eye. And we already know what that eye in the pyramid means. They control the media. You get me? Sis said, nah, I never fell for the narrative about Breezy. And just like Tori. And see, that's the thing. Yes, she said CBS is owned by the ops. See, my sis giving y'all that knowledge. She giving y'all that work. And we got to figure that. So what did they do? They got out there. They created this narrative long before it got back to what Jay-Z allegedly done to Ree, knowing Ree was underage. That way keeps the pressure away from him, keeps the heat away from him. But now, look how things come around full circle. Who is being mentioned in the Jeffrey E. files?
So that he could cover up the fact that he started with 14 when he was damn near 30 years old. No, he was 30 years old. Like I said, R. Kelly should not be in jail by himself.
Say it with your chest.
They ruined that young man's life. Chris Brown is brilliant. And I want everybody
Sis said who fled right after the files dropped.
Sores on his at 19 and he was Chris Brown.
That's why it looked like that. I knew it was something. I was like, girl, ever since I seen this, I was like, girl, I want none of that. I want none of that, girl. Like Chris no more.
Gave him the Jay-Z herpes.
Girl, I knew something was wrong with that. That look all out of sync, girl. I was like, oh no.
That beautiful young man, and they ruined him.
That's why he's so angry all the time.
He should be angry. Shit, if I was Rihanna, I'd have choked the shit out. If I was him, I'd have choked the shit out that too. You give me herpes and then I come to confront you and you got another in your mouth?
Jenny said Kels needs to come on out and speak his truth. I know. I don't know what he's waiting on.
My.
Ain't no way. I'm not
finna tell. Knew the kind of shit Sean Carter has been doing behind the scenes for decades. If people only knew that Rihanna's father was right down the hall when she was in the conference room, Jay-Z for that $500,000 deal, and he got that check cut.
So her dad came?
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what that
First time I heard that. So her dad was at the office with her in another room. So are we hearing that her parents, or at least her dad, because he was there, but her parents basically sold her off? Is this like a Justin Bieber mom thing? And all the other child stars whose parents, Britney Spears' parents thing, where all their parents put them in the position to be taken advantage of like that and assaulted just for the money? Because for a long time, y'all, I'd never heard anything about Reed's parents being there. Like we just said, to the best of our knowledge, they was left in Barbados. But she just said her dad was there, just in an office, another office, or in the break room or whatever, down the hall. Which would mean he knew his daughter was in there with grown men, alone. Y'all.
A really good audition. And what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Justin Bieber.
Oh, yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief. So then he said something about a window and a door or something. Oh, then he said...
She's been interviewed by Tyra Banks.
He did did the homework. I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady. He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
Could that be, hey, could that be a terroristic threat? To say if you're on the 29th floor, you're going to throw somebody out the window? Could that be a terroristic threat? Or would they just take that as a joke? And how is she to take it if she's from another country? Lori said it is in Kentucky. She said, I'll tell you that. China ain't no better. Look what she did to Miss J. Yeah. Tyra, you meant Tyra. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You were right, sis.
I heard the record and I was really afraid of the record. It was so big that I thought the record would be bigger than her.
Right.
I thought the record, she would be
Lori
the
said,
prom
got
the
that
replay
shirt.
girl.
Forever.
Been there,
Yeah,
done that.
so, but I took the meeting anyway. I said, let
And,
me
it,
just see.
and I'm
let me
sure you
just
wasn't
meet
on the
her.
29th
And
floor.
Beautiful
when
girl.
I met her that day, I knew she was a star. Like, just her look, the way she walked into a room and her confidence, and she performed in my office.
And she was what, 17 years old at that
She
point?
was 16.
16. And she has the confidence of it. She's
Yeah.
like an old soul in a
Yeah,
sense, right?
absolutely.
So she walks in your office and what, she just belts out a tune?
Belts out of tune, she performs, and I tell her, there's no way out of this office. I signed her that day.
Wow. Wow. When she's your artist, she must be generating a fortune, right?
Yeah, well.
I mean, if you retired tomorrow, you could just run her career and make a ton of dough. Am I correct?
No.
I'm wrong?
No, I have expensive taste.
Oh, you do?
No, Jaguar Wright said she was at the party, even though she said that, for example, when she said that the car was going, 100 miles per hour, I was like, how do you know that? How do you know that they're in the closet and like stuff like that? Certain things I'm not sure how she knew. Probably someone at the party told her that saw it. I'm not sure, but she said she was at the party. It was the night before the Grammy.
They were a
It
cute
was
couple
at
too,
Clive
man.
Davis' home, and Rihanna was going down, and Jay-Z and Chris Brown caught them. He flipped out.
Hey, look, no shade to ASAP. ASAP, no shade to you if you hear this or see this on YouTube, man. No shade to you at all. But I'm just gonna say, Rihanna and Chris Brown would have had a beautiful baby. Not saying it's yours and hers are not. I'm just saying they would have had a beautiful baby.
Saw a celebrity girl basically cheating. He stormed off. Rihanna ran behind him. She got in the car. They started to fight while he was driving. And in Jaguar Wright, that is how the story goes. But, Jay-Z having her piece, giving that to Rihanna, Rihanna giving that
Facts,
to
sister, they would have
Chris
had a beautiful
Brown.
family. That
and
is
then
true.
for Chris Brown to stay silent, Jay-Z painted and created and painted the narrative that, Chris Brown is an abuser and he's not innocent, but Rihanna is innocent. He's innocent. I'm just laying out the points that Jaguar Wright made. But here's a question. Do you guys believe it? Do you guys believe Jaguar Wright's story? Let me know down in the comment section. No. What I will say is that I won't be surprised if it's true. Honestly, I won't be surprised. Like, if you asked me these stuff around 3 years back, I would be surprised about some of these stuff 3 to 4 years back. But learning about stuff, stuff that came to light, stuff that got exposed, it made me realize that you should not be surprised when stuff like these are said. I'm not agreeing that it's true. I'm not agreeing that it's false because honestly, I'm not there. And there's not enough solid proof. We're only assuming of Jaguar Wright's word, right? Once again, as I said, she was at the party.
Signed her that night. We didn't let her leave the office. Really? The 3 a.m. was when that contract got signed. So from the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 a.m. Wow. That day, I was absolutely certain.
How often does that happen? I mean, that's
not often.
That's unheard of, right?
That's not, yeah.
All right, y'all. So listen, pause it right there because now we have Jay-Z himself admitting he's putting himself in the office at 3 a.m. in the morning with this underage female. Again, y'all, This is him saying it, and I'm pretty sure when he did the interview, he never thought that he would have to face anything like this, or nobody knew about Ramirez's mom at this time. And yeah, we knew about Foxy, but back then that got brushed under the rug, pretty much, other than Nas letting us know in Ether. But and also Foxy saying certain things, subliminal things here and there. But we didn't know anything about that, or Jay-Z moving that way. So I can feel like when he's doing this interview with man, I can't remember this guy's name. He used to be on MTV. Man, I should know his name. I just can't call it right now. Cool brother though. Cool brother. But I'm sure when he's doing this interview, he's open. He's comfortable in answering these questions because he never thought he'd have to go back and face the things that he's facing now, so he could openly talk about it, right? So I believe Sway. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, appreciate that, sis. Sway, that's who's interviewing him from I think it's MTV. So I'm pretty sure he said this openly. It wasn't no kind of, watching what I say or choose my words wisely. He was in his element. He was comfortable, and so that's what he was saying. And he puts himself there, so we know it happened.
I mean, to get lawyers to draft up contracts and then the other side to agree to contracts in 10 hours is
validates what Jaguar Wright was saying.
No, it's very crazy if you ask me. Very crazy. Chris Brown has never yet said something like this.
That was your stage name,
What,
Sway?
will he be too ashamed to include the herpes section? Probably yes, but he has never said that Rihanna was the first one to attack him or stuff like that. And he has never said that he caught Rihanna, going down on Jay-Z. He has never, said those stuff. He has always just took the blame and moved on. Right? We have seen where both of them, said hi and bye to each other, throughout time after that situation. But as I said, none of them have came out and said something that is similar to Jaguar Wright's story. And honestly, I don't think they will ever do it unless they're extremely pressured to do it. But the Jigga Man always finds himself in the conversation. I don't know how, I don't know why, but Jay-Z needs to be studied. Like, that is why they say you can never win against him, because he's the slickest man alive. He's the slickest man in the game. And it's starting to make sense.
Since right? 10 hours surrounded by
he
grown,
held a 16-year-old in his office
beyond
until
us.
3
I
a.m.
have to agree
a
1,000%.
16-year-old. When he was talking about the first time he met her, I was sort of suspicious. But obviously we do not know facts. We only can assume and say what we believe, but we do not know facts because Rihanna has never yet confirmed these stuff. She has never yet even spoken on these stuff, right? So from that stance, Jay-Z's innocent. Until Rihanna or Chris Brown speak on those stuff, they're innocent. And that's just the truth. Whether you believe it or whether you not. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your perspective down in the comment section. But let me know your thoughts and perspective down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys believe. Let me know what you guys do not believe. Leave it down in the comment section. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say. Remember to drop a like and subscribe, as it helps out a lot. And it'll be greatly appreciated. I want to say thank you for your time and thank you guys so much for watching. It is the boy Premium Celeb. And as usual, your boy is out.
Let's give it up to Premium Celeb on that. Again, outstanding content. Well, y'all, we've come to an end of hashtag I'm gonna say it on YouTube. But let's put some things on the table before we go, y'all. Let's put some things on the table that we was talking about on Friday when we was rudely interrupted. So now, let's go on that timeline. Jay-Z's name starts to come out in the Jeffrey E. files. It's been said or alleged that he reached out to Rihanna for something. We're thinking that probably to try to speak on his behalf or try to soften the blow or inflate his character or make him look good in some kind of way. We're just going to say that. But we don't know what she said or if she said anything. We're just assuming she said no, if that did take place, because she's been out the way for the most part. She's doing her cosmetic thing. She's got her kids. She's got her man. She's doing the family thing and been pretty successful at it, might I add. So now we're going to say she probably said no. She didn't want to get involved anymore. And we can see that if what Jaguar Wright is saying, which we just heard, Jay-Z put himself there in the office at 3 a.m. with an underage Riri, and things must have happened there. We heard about the herpes that was given to Chris Brown via Riri, and she got it from Jay-Z, allegedly, right? And so with that incident happening, Riri probably was like, nah, I don't want to do nothing for you. I don't want to be in it. You know, this happened. I want to keep my distance from you. And then this lady and a guy, now we know there was a guy in the Tesla with the lady too. What's her name? Ortez lady that did the at Riri's house. And now we're hearing Riri don't want to live in LA no more. They're gone. So that can lead us to think that Camel Face did send some people to do that, right? I'm just saying, y'all, this is why we come to this conclusion, that this is why we think or present this theory to you all, because when you start to look at certain things, it could very well be that. And we know that one thing's for sure, two things for certain. When it comes to the industry, when it comes to the celebrity realm of things, when it comes to the elites, by them being able to control everything, they only going to show us what they want us to believe. But yet, like we tell you all before, if you pay attention and you know what to look for, they're already telling on themselves in movies, in TV shows, in commercials, in cartoons, stuff like that. They already tell us what they're doing, but they put it off as art or entertainment. And it's up to us to see what's really before us. So I strongly encourage you all to go and do your deep dive and do your investigations and do your research on how this thing works out. I told you all about the thing up in Northern California. Jenny told y'all to get with her, and she'll definitely send you the link so you all can learn that. But we was talking about it too long before she found that, and so people who rock with us know we was telling the truth. Now that pretty much solidified what we was talking about. All right, hey. You know how we do it. This has been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, signing off from the newsroom. And remember, you could be anything in the world. Be somebody. I love you all to life. Peace and blessings.